me tell you about the facts of life. Sing it with me.
Take the good, take the bad, you take them both. There you have the facts of life. The facts of life. Take the good, take the bad.
Welcome back to another episode of Facts of Life. I am your host, Sakia, and these are the facts of my life. Thank you all for listening to the podcast, subscribing, and yeah, just tuning in. I really appreciate you. If you enjoy this episode, please subscribe to the podcast, share the podcast. If you feel like it's not for you, share it with somebody that you feel like it may be for. Leave a review. And this podcast is available to be streamed on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Google Podcasts, and full visuals of the podcast will be up on YouTube. And I am returning with my guest co-host. I guess you're my co-host now.
I'll be here sometimes.
Yeah, you be here sometimes.
I'll be here sometimes. I am Miss Creative AF or Sheba or Michelle, whatever you know me as.
Yes, and let's give a happy birthday to Sheba, Michelle. Happy Earth Day.
Thank you. Thank you. I was feeling it too. I really did feel like I was being reborn last week, so it was beautiful.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm so happy that, you inspired me to keep creating. When I saw that song, I was like, yes, you better go ahead and live your best life. Seriously. You better do whatever you want. Whatever you want to do, you better do that shit.
I mean, you kind of have to. Like, I set a goal for myself last year, because I still coach myself too, to write some songs.
I didn't know that you were into writing music.
Girl, I have all the secrets over here, honey.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my clients came to me one day. We were talking, just sharing about her brand and whatnot. She was like, I feel like you got some songs in you. And she never knew I sang or anything at that point. So I was like, that must be the spirit talking. So I was like, well, you know what? You're right. I am supposed to be writing some music this year. So I am going to get to it. And that was the second song I wrote. So I have another one. And then I have one I'm working on right now. I think it's going to be like a Black revolutionary tune. But it's kind of jazzy and kind of funky.
Yeah, I love it. I was like, I love when artists tell a story, and like that's my favorite type of. And I know not people like, well, all musicians, and not all musicians tell stories, so like that's not true. But I love when people are detailed in their music and they tell a story. Like that is my jam. So I appreciate it.
Thank you, and I feel like it's important to do that too, because like. I know, like, even though it's a short song, it's almost like watching a movie. So let's make sure we have a start, a middle, and an end, so that it can be complete. So that when people listen to it, they can just go on the journey too. Like, instead of, oh, here goes some words. Like, make it make sense. Yeah. And also, I think there's so much power in music that when you are being intentional like that was a cord cutting ritual for me. All the guys that I had ever been with that had abused me, had played games, had been playing in my face, had, just misused me. I wrote my feelings into those lyrics. And I mean, it was a little bit basic, but it meant a lot to me. Yeah. So I bought the beat from Oh Boy, so I'm going to take it and record on it in the studio so I can put it all together.
Yeah. You told them, seriously. And that's on period, okay? You missing the fuck out. And that's
okay. And you ain't gonna get none either. Goodbye.
See you later.
Yeah. I mean, because it's the time. Like, I know I was in that space where I was like, well, I just want somebody so much that, like, I will give myself to anybody who shows up. And that ain't the way to do it. Like, I must be responsible with myself. I must value myself. I must not just give myself to anybody. And that's why I use the line, ain't no more pearls before swine, because that's the truest thing you could do is just like keep giving gold to people who don't respect it. Like, not even finna keep doing it. So yes, thank you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you putting on for the sisters that.
Okay.
That is a reminder.
And we do.
Yeah, seriously, we do.
Mm-hmm.
We really need that reminder. So how else are you living your best life besides about to put out a mixtape on us?
Okay. Well, so I spoke a little bit before we started about how I had kind of realized that I was like clinging to some of my actions and activities that I participated in when I was really depressed.
Mhm.
So I decided to really let that shit go and be the mother I was before I became depressed. So like when I had my daughter, I had postpartum depression really, really hard. And then there was all these like she was a lot because I mean she's special needs. So like that started very early. Of course I
Mhm.
didn't recognize or realize what it was, but like she needed so much from me. I mean, I was like so drained. I had no time to care for myself. Didn't know how to climb out of it. And so when I started climbing out of it because I really needed to fix my life,
Mhm.
I didn't even realize that like I was just not being present where I needed to be for her.
Mhm.
So I'm making that my intention to just make sure that I'm just like a super good mom in that area. Like, and when I say that, I'm not talking about like buying her things or little crap like that. I'm talking about discipline, boundaries, learning respect, understanding, you know, what's right and wrong because she's so free. She lives kind of like a wild animal and she likes that. And I'm like, that's fine, but these people will take you away from me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They will take you and have you to go live with somebody else. So for me, if you want to be with me and we want to stay together, then we got to do right. You
Yeah,
know?
have some structure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Cause that's hard for me too, as a creative to like be structured and organized and like, you know, make sure I'm on my shit. But like, it's important. And the number one thing about it is like, I also have to be my own mom here. I'm the
Mhm.
mom of the whole house, myself and the kids. So
Right.
that's how I'm living my best life right now.
Yeah. Well, you're doing amazing. One of the
Thank you.
things I feel like when we first started recording, you mentioned that you know you wanted to make changes in your life so that you could be a better parent. So I
Yeah.
definitely commend you for doing that because a lot of people don't do that, you know, and it hurts your children at the end of the day. So I definitely commend you for wanting to do the work and being willing to do the work and making the changes. And on top of that, you know, you're helping other people in the midst of that. So like that's awesome. So you're a great mom.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't
Yeah.
always feel like it, but I think that's a mom thing. Like none of us feel like a great mom. But
Yeah.
like I was telling somebody last night and just like I was kind of mentioning earlier, like you do the best you can from where you're at. And I know people like to be like, fuck that. You still need to, you know, do right. But like sometimes you really can't. You know,
Right.
like if you've been depressed before, like really depressed, like you get it. Like so imagine a depressed person trying to parent other humans and give them what they really need to be successful. It's not going to go.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Right. Of course. But you know, you're doing it and it's going to be great. And I love that. I also love that, you know, how you describe your daughter and her personality is similar to yours.
Oh yeah. We rock together like I
Yeah,
mean, we have a lot of fun singing and dancing, but like somebody has to be the mom. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And
Right.
like legit be the mom because like she don't listen to nothing I say. Last night I went into the laundry room and I heard her. I said something about like pick up your bowl or whatever from eating, and I was in the laundry room and I heard first of all, and I'm like, I know she didn't just say first of all. So I walked back in there and I was like, "What you say?" And she was like, and I said, exactly, because I thought somebody who can't procure or prepare their own food said something. Like, you can't
Yeah.
live without me, baby. So you better get it right. And I also just decided, like, I'm not doing no tripping because I'm the mom. So I gotta hold my level. Not
Right.
like punch, like I'm just mean like tight. I gotta be tight
Yeah.
because them kids be trying it. Like,
Mhm.
if you're not solid and you're not like, this is my rule, you're going against the boundary. I said no. Then you will explode and you'll be somewhere crying, going, oh, I went off on my kids. I feel bad. Like, so just keep it cute. You're the boss. You
Mhm.
are the boss. Like, them kids are not the boss. They can't do their whole life without you. So
Right.
you are the one that has the power. Like,
Right.
no shade, but I got the power. I got the coins.
Mm-hmm.
I got the knowledge. I got the strategy. I know what we're doing. Ain't no way y'all finna run me.
I know that's right.
Ain't no way.
Laying down the law. I hear that. That's funny. You said that. While you were saying that, that made me think. Like, my friend was over here. I should say my sister was over here the other day with her family, and she has 3 children under the age of 5. And it was a lot of noise. I love them so much, but it was a lot of noise over here. And the oldest, they're vegan, and so they had brought some fruit and stuff over here. And so my oldest nephew says to me, he said they're about to leave the house. He said, Auntie Zizi, he said, don't eat the strawberries. You can't eat all the strawberries. And I was like, excuse me? Like, this is my house. I wanted to say that so bad, but I'm like, I'm not equipped. I'm not there yet. So I commend y'all. And then when he came back to the house, he said, Auntie Zizi, did you eat all the strawberries? I said, no, I did not. And then he looked in the fridge like to check to see if I ate, to make sure I didn't eat all the strawberries. I said, excuse me? I'm the adult here, but like I haven't reached that point to have those type of conversations with children yet. So I'll be like, I gotta learn how to be patient. I ain't a parent yet. Like, I'm getting a little taste of the medicine. I'm like, y'all, I commend all of y'all, all the moms, all the parents, all the dads, because I know y'all gotta have a different level of patience for.
And that's what I mean, because they will. And the thing is that we don't set it up right from the beginning, because we're looking at them and like, oh my God, my baby, I love my baby. My baby's so cute. My baby's so cute. Oh, my baby's crying. Let me run over there and make sure it's okay. And you should. But what the child learns in that moment is, this motherfucker do whatever I say.
Yep.
And then as soon as they start talking, you be doing whatever they say. And then you try to flex on them and they start crying or they start doing something. And it's like, okay, well, let me step back. Like, keep flexing.
Yeah.
Like, make them uncomfortable. Like, somebody taught me this, to be honest. And I didn't even really get it until now or like recently. And I was like, this is the point. And it's not about being mean. It's just about you being the parent. Like, I am in charge of the square. Until you can make more money than me, you can provide me with meals, drive me around, and help me with my homework, I'm going to continue to be the boss. So, but we're always like, I don't want to be mean to my kids and I don't want to be abusive or controlling. But then we get to the point where we don't have any boundaries, rules, or respect. We start hollering at them and then resenting them and feeling like shit because we went off on them. That is the abuse. Right. The abuse is not in setting the boundary, because the boundary keeps everybody safe.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why I'm a girl. I mean, I'm just glad I figured it out, because like I didn't come from a house where it was like that. Right. You know, we really didn't act up or buck up or anything too much. I mean, I always was mouthy because can't help it. All that Gemini energy, you know. Yeah. But like my mama didn't have no boundaries. Still don't. You know, my dad was like, my dad did, but his boundaries were so extreme. It was like it was almost like eggshells. Like, how's he feeling today? Like, I would only be able to tell because he would have this wrinkle on his forehead whenever he would get upset. And I would be like, are we this where we are today? Let me just go upstairs. Because, but when I started looking at myself really closely and my own emotional state and my own mental health, it was when I realized, okay, my dad probably had some of the same issues that I'm dealing with and didn't know how to process them. Because when I found out my dad was an astrologer, I was like, okay, so he must have been really sensitive too, and was, you know, catching them downloads and feeling emotional and didn't really understand how to process all of that. So like, that was when I started giving him grace and me grace too. But I'm doing something different in my house because I just ain't doing no tripping. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I get it. I love it. I definitely appreciate you sharing your parenting style with us. Seriously.
I mean, that's what it's
Somebody
about.
needs to hear it. Somebody needs to hear it.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's about. It's like if I had shame for that, then I wouldn't be able to help anybody.
Right.
But like we have the experiences we have so that we can help people, but
Right.
it's when we keep holding on to it when we're not able to help because we're still in the midst of it instead of just letting it go and saying, well, that happened to me so that I could be a teacher somewhere.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's get into how I'm living my best life. I
I'm
want
sorry, I
to.
was rambling.
No, it's okay. We haven't talked in a while, so it's like we catching up right now. So whatever, it's whatever. But I'm so glad. I want to go back to what you were saying earlier about your song about how
Mm.
niggas ain't never getting none of this again. I need to incorporate that in my living my best life because I had some real epiphanies since I feel like the last time we talked with the men's in the dating department. And like I wanna say this. Niggas caught me slipping. Okay, so what? Okay, y'all caught me slipping this past spring. I ain't gonna lie, y'all had me in the first half, but it's over with now. Like I'm not double back. I'm not double backing on anything I'm saying. Like I think I was excited because I was feeling myself. Like I was feeling good. So I got caught slipping with with this one guy, and like I'm saying that because I'm like, I can't be mad at anybody but myself because I wanted to satisfy my desires. And I'm saying, okay, I should be more transparent, I guess, and be clear so y'all can really understand what I'm saying. I was abstaining from sex.
Mm.
And so, I met this guy and it wasn't even nothing deep was happening. It was just like whatever. I was feeling good, whatever, and that it is what it is. And then he just did some bullshit. Like he was just some dusty. He ended up being some dusty ass nigga, pretty much. Like, and I'm like, this is exactly why I should have just kept on the path to abstaining because y'all don't deserve and not even only deserve to have sex with me, but like deserve to even speak to me a lot of times. Like,
Bitch, what
like,
you even doing over here?
like you don't even deserve to speak to me. Period. You don't deserve that from me because like you are not even like I'm learning with the dating that, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I have things I have to work on, like we talked about prior to really getting into the episode. But I feel like I've done a lot of work on myself, and I've done a lot of self-reflecting, and I've done a lot of therapy, and I've gotten a lot of tools from therapy so that I can be a better friend, pretty much a better friend. Cause like, that's what I want to be, is a better friend, not only to, my friends, but to my family, you know what I mean? To a potential partner. So when I feel like I've done all of this work and like and maybe, it's what I have to go through to meet Prince Charming, but I keep meeting these guys that don't have any type of emotional intelligence or self-awareness. And it's like, and these are grown ass men over the age of 30.
Yeah.
They don't know how to communicate.
They're 15.
Yeah, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, like they are very much 15 years old. Like the guy that I'm referring to, we talked on the phone over the weekend, right? Because like I was like, I wanted to get some clarity on the direction of where we were going going to, right?
Okay.
And like, I don't like to have these type of conversations through text message. I don't. That's me. I've learned my lesson with texting guys when you have something important to say.
Okay, because they only gonna read the last line.
Exactly. So and this is free game for the women that still sending paragraphs. Stop texting in paragraphs. They don't care about the paragraphs. You pick up the phone and you call them. And you don't, and I've gotten to the point I don't even tell niggas what I'm calling them about. I just call.
The sneak attack.
You said what?
The sneak attack.
It's the best. It's been working for me, or at least I thought it's been working for me. Like, I don't even tell them anymore. I just be like, I just call them like, everything is good. Like, oh well, I have something to talk about, and we gonna have this conversation. Period. And it's like, maybe it's ambushing, but I don't feel like it's ambushing because it's like, we're adults and we should be able to have serious conversations without it being this thing, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how I feel. But so anyway, when I called him to have this conversation, he reminded me of my younger brother, and I was like,
why did I even?
Huh?
You're like, why did I even?
Why did I even? After that conversation, I was like, why did I even interact with this man? And like, I kind of figured, and like, when I first met him, I kind of saw it, but I ignored it. You know, I ignored it because I was like, maybe, you know, he got a good job. You know what I mean? He has a really important job. Girl. And, you know, maybe
they be the main ones.
Terrible. I was like, when we was on the phone, I was like, I feel like I'm talking to Jordan, who is my younger brother. Like, I'm like, this is not real. And this man is older than me, you know, too. And so after that, I just blocked him because it's nothing else for us to talk about at this point.
Okay.
So yeah, I had that realization, epiphany over the weekend that a lot of y'all don't deserve to speak to me. Men and women.
Listen, both of you bitches.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of y'all don't deserve to speak to me, and how else I'm living my best life is like, you know, I'm just doing my best to work through the motions and to be consistent. Like, that is something that I think I want to really work on this next decade of my life, is my consistency, and realizing that I have to do better with my consistency in life. You know, not even creative work, but just, you know,
showing up for yourself.
Yeah, showing up for myself and the self-healing. And also from the last episode where I have Raven on, we talked about, like, you know, being able to ask for help. And I've been doing that lately, and like, I'm grateful that I've been able to verbalize what I need. And it's been helpful with my relationships. Because sometimes, like, I was feeling like in the past, I would feel like, I feel like I'm being needy, you know, but it's like, no, we're friends and we want to continue this relationship. There's certain things I need from you and certain things I need for you not to do sometimes, you know, and I think I used to feel bad about it too, because like, I'm trying to think, and I don't know, not everybody can verbalize what they need from you. And I used to feel like, well, damn, like, they not saying it, so I shouldn't say it type of shit. And it's like, nope, say it. You better say it, and you better keep saying it, you know, like, if they forget. And and I think, like, this girl that I had been friends with for, I guess, over 10 years, we recently stopped being friends during the pandemic. And you know, it was a lot of different, and I know this probably sounds terrible in retrospect, but it's like, I think I didn't say anything for so long that when I saw the shift happening in our relationship, that's when I spoke up. But it wasn't, I guess it wasn't the right timing, whatever. I don't know. She just had a baby. So she felt like it wasn't the right time. And like,
Because she didn't want to deal with it. Because she didn't want to deal with it. Because she's not ready to deal with it. And which is fine. She should have just said, girl, I'm not ready to process this.
Right, yeah. And so when I told her what I needed from her, you know, it was like she pretty much went ghost on me. Like, and it was just like, okay, well, you know, why should I say anything to anybody, you know? Like, that's how it made me feel. And I felt like, you know, we was good enough friends I thought we were good enough friends to like work through that. But it is what it is. But yeah, episode 90 of the podcast had me really thinking about like how important it is to speak up for what you need from people and don't feel bad about it. And no matter what the outcome is, it is what it is at the end of the day. Like, at least you said what you needed from whoever it is that you needed it from.
And remember too, because you're on the journey of and I kind of came up with this thing the other day, like a rainbow bridge, like the rainbow, like, because it's not linear. You going up, boom, down, but you're going to lose people. Some people can't vibe with you when you start to vibe differently. And you start to recognize and realize that you were making choices for who you want to spend your time with from an unhealed place.
Right.
You know, so, I mean, it's all love, but like, we're friends for the time that we're supposed to be friends. Right. And if it's meant for you guys to come back together after she's done some work on herself, then you will. Yeah,
for sure. Definitely. I'm open to it, but I'm also okay with moving on with my life too.
Absolutely. You should be.
At first I wasn't, but now I'm just like, whatever. It is.
Yeah. I mean, you're becoming a whole different person. Like, it may not feel like it now, but like ultimately, like once you hit the end of it, you're like, I'm not even that person anymore.
Yeah.
And, you know, so
that's
it's like,
I'm feeling. Like, as I'm moving in, well, as I'm about to turn 30, like, I feel like I'm not the same person who I was before. Like, this is literally a whole new chapter, I have a whole 10 years of a decade. Well, that is a decade. 10 years.
10 years of a decade.
10 years of a decade. But, yeah, I have a whole 10 years for, like, just a whole new life. You know, like, that is crazy to me. Like, you have a whole 10 years of a whole new life, and like all the things that I used to do and how I used to feel and the things that I used to say, like, you know, it's just no longer. It's over with now. So it's like, and I think like that's why I've been feeling so, part of the reason why I've been feeling so heavy too, because I'm just like, you know, I can't keep holding on to certain things that happened, you know, when I was a teenager or when I was a child. And like, I guess I suppressed it for so long that I'm like, yeah, because I'm moving into the decade of possibly having children, and possibly getting married. I want to be a mom, you know, and I want to be married. So it's like, I know that there's still more work to do in order for me to align with that energy of, or manifesting those things. So it's like, I have work to do that I can't hold on to anymore. Cause I don't want no dusty, baby daddy.
Right. And that's what you'll draw to you if you're holding on to that shit.
Exactly.
I know from experience, because I done it 2 times, not just one. But I think a lot of people, their trauma is just part of their identity. So it's like, it's not easy to let that go because it's part of you. Yeah. You know, you're like, well, who am I if I'm not the abused girl?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And that's something that I'm like, coming to realize, that's coming to fruition for me, is like I didn't realize all of the trauma that I went through as a child. And like now that it's coming up more often, especially as I walk into this new chapter, it's like I can't hold on to this because I know that it's blocking me from getting certain things and having certain things, or just being like ascending higher, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's like making a real choice. Like, do I want to keep this that I've always had and been holding on to, or do I want what's new?
Right.
You know? And it's not easy. Like so like everybody, listeners, you, me, give ourselves grace because it's not easy. Like the unknown is like, but what if, but it's like freeing. It's so freeing to like walk into the future.
Right. For sure. We walking into it. And speaking of that, I want to get into the facts about turning 30.
Okay.
And I guess what it means to turn 30, because I remember before I even got to this point, and I didn't think it would come this fast, turning 30 either. But before it got here, like I used to think that 30 was old. I really did, because like, when you younger, you 18, you like, you 30? You old as hell, like, and we see this all the time, but I thought that my life had to look a certain way too. And I think, I wanted to, of course, I want to be married and I want to have children and stuff. And, I didn't feel this pressure. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't feel this pressure until I moved down to Houston, because it's not like a thing back home in Connecticut where it's like, you have to get married young. And like it seems like a thing down here that people get married young,
Yeah, it's like an achievement. Like, okay, we got booed up and we got hitched.
Yeah, like straight out of high school, some people are getting married in the South, not just Houston, but I think it's a Southern thing, and like family is really important to y'all down here, and like we're family oriented back home, but it's like y'all are like really family oriented.
It's funny though, because like I see that behavior mostly with white women.
What, getting married young?
Getting married straight away. I mean, and maybe this because I'm 37, so most of the people that I went to high school with, I didn't see there was only a handful of them anyway, black women, but I saw the white women do mostly. But they also got divorced and working on husband number 2 now.
Right.
The majority of them.
That makes sense. Well, I met a couple of, melanated women that have got married young at like, well, I shouldn't say straight out of high school, but 21, like the 21 to 25 age range. Oh, excuse me. And so I'm like, that's really young. Like, I don't know, like, the girl that I was talking about earlier, like she was the first person in our friend group to have a baby, like, and she was like, what, 29, 30. And you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not really a common, I didn't grow up seeing that a lot. I saw teen moms in high school, but I didn't really see people really getting married, or having children. And I remember when I was working at the tax office, one of the guys there, that a coworker, a colleague, whatever, he was like, oh, they used to think like I was an alien, that, I wasn't married. And like most of the girls in my office, like the young girls, they were all married or had children. Like I was one of the handful of young women in my office that was unmarried with children. Like, it was crazy. I was like shocked, but he was like, yo, when you getting married, when you having children? I'm like, I don't know, like, what the hell? Like, and I didn't, because like my mom, we don't have these type of conversations, like, because one, I'm not dating anybody seriously, so why the hell would you even bring up me having children if I'm not I don't even like anybody, you know? So it's like my mother never put the pressure on me to have children or get married. So it's like coming down here, I felt, and when I started working at that job, I was like, well, maybe I should be, or, you know, like I started feeling that pressure and I'm like, I don't know. But the moral of the story is like, when you turn 30, I feel like you could just be, I feel free, but at the same time, like I feel like, you know, this is the time to really get serious, I guess. Not saying it wasn't before, but how did you feel when you turned 30?
When I turned 30, let's see, I was living with my mom and stepdad, I think. Was I? Yeah, because I'm 37 now. So I was about to, let me see, where was I? I had just had Michaela. So I was living in this apartment. Oh my God. I'm not going to say who it was, but just listen to the song. And I was experiencing some things. I was trying to find a dad for my son and my daughter. And I was obsessively trying to date people to procure a husband. But the thing about it is, like, I was so desperate for it. Like, niggas can smell desperation. You know? And then it was like who I was trying to make be with me. Like, these people still not ready for no relationship 7 years later. So it's like, when I was 30, I was in that same place, I think. But I think I gotta have it came from already having the kids and really wanting to show them what a family was like. And I mean, it has been an interesting 7 years because, like, it's been like an up and down. Like, after that, I moved in again with my mom and stepdad, and I felt so like trash because I was like, I don't have my life together. You know, I got 2 kids. Here I am again, back over here. Got this fucking guy that's bullshitting me around, and I was not happy. I really wasn't. Like, I didn't even get to the point where I was okay until like after the pandemic, where I was like really like, I'm happy and I'm enjoying my life, because I was worried about all those material things, like getting a husband, having the right house, having the right job, having the right car. Oh, I'm not as good as the other girls because they have this and they don't have kids, and other people want to date them because they don't have kids, and they've got more money than me, and girl, fuck all of that shit. Because none of that stuff even matters. And the thing is that, like, once you get to the point where you really feel good, all of that stuff will come to you anyway. So it's the desperation that keeps it farther from you. So even including like a husband or a partner, like, because when women come to me, they're like, well, how can I manifest a man? Well, first of all, what you need to do is stop wanting one. And also be your own man until he shows up, because we have an empty space. So we're like, I'm lacking. I don't have this. I don't have that. So if you do it for yourself, then you stop lacking and you feel better, because it's that I wish I had it that keeps you from being desperate. Right. And that keeps you desperate. And it keeps it from you.
Right. I'm glad that you said that, because like, I don't 100% feel that way, but I have moments where I feel that way. Like, you know, I thought that I had to have, you know, a house and a husband and have children and have this job and be making this certain amount of money. And sometimes I still feel that way when it comes to money, because, you know, a lot of my friends, and I guess I'm comparing, but like a lot of them knew what they wanted to do out of undergrad, you know? So it was like, they just took off and they just, you know, they got in their careers or they got their master's degrees or whatever. And everybody's making more money than me. You know what I mean? So I've always like felt that, you know, I guess that burden when it came to like the whole finances thing. I still kind of feel it. I'm working through it, but like I, excuse me. Sometimes I feel like, damn, like, well, when am I going to get married? And it's like, it's challenging because it's like, we're at that age now where it's like, pretty much people are getting engaged and married and having children, like once you hit the 30 and up club, it's like, that's what it is. So it is challenging to like not always feel that way. And me and my friend were having this conversation over the weekend. I'm glad you brought up the whole desperation thing because I started watching I started rewatching Girlfriends again. And I'm looking at it from a different perspective, like watching it for the third time. Because Joan, the main character, she was so desperate to be in a relationship. So she was fucking with all these fuck niggas pretty much up until she got engaged to this guy. And I was just like, I don't want to do that. Like I don't want to be in a space of desperation where it's like, I'm just willing to do anything. I'm willing to settle. I'm willing to just say, okay, well, yeah, we could do that because like, I just want to be with somebody, because it's hard as a woman, to be sleeping by yourself all the time. Like, I guess I'm kind of used to it, so I don't really make too much of a fuss about it. But it does get to the point where it's like, I don't want to be by myself, like, that's hard. That's a tough pill to swallow sometimes. And like, I was talking to my friend, I was telling her like, cause me and my therapist, before I had gotten to this whole thing with my job, I wanted to, start talking through dating with my therapist. And one of the things that she said to me was like, the reason why you get so frustrated with dating is because you're looking for somebody to save you.
Let her know.
And I was like, you are right, because I'm tired of doing everything by myself. Like, like I work, I pay all of my bills by myself. I bring up this 5-gallon jug of water by myself. I cook by myself. I clean by myself. I make plans to do things for myself, by myself. Like, nobody does these things for me. So it's like, yeah, I want a nigga to come in and save the damn day because I'm tired of doing it for myself. So it's definitely a challenge to like get out of that mindset sometimes because it's like you have no other choice but to do it yourself.
Right. And I'll tell you, I mean, my man's not here yet, but I did write it down. So I'll ask you first, did you write it down? What you want?
I wrote down a list a couple years ago when I had just got out of this relationship. So yeah, you're right. I do.
I mean, we have a new moon on tomorrow, and this is a perfect time to be really asking for what you want in the material, but also doing the work that will help it come. So here's what I'll say about the list. After I wrote out this long diatribe of what I wanted in the person that I wanted to manifest, I also had to check the list to make sure that I was doing the things for myself that I was asking for, because it puts you in the energy of being able to receive it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I know it's not easy for you to carry the water or to do all these other things, but if you can do it with joy and keep yourself at the right vibration, then it was more likely that you will meet somebody who will be like, I'll carry the water. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about being patient and finding gratitude in the waiting, because we do have to do a lot of waiting, but it's okay because we're really still not alone. Like we always feel so lonely, but you always have somebody you can talk to. And I hate to sound biblical or preachy, but your creator, your spirit team, whether or not you practice some religion that has multiple deities, is right there for you to be like, man, I need support. Boom, you get the support. I don't know if I told you about the time that I think maybe this was last month, new moon, but I was writing and I was asking my dad or my spirit team, who are my ancestors, for a message, for direction, because I needed it. So one of my records, I had him sitting in front of that, which is my dad's little chest too. But one of my records fell over, and that never happens because I keep them there all the time. It just boom, tipped over. So I went to go get it, and I put it on, and it was gosh, I can't remember the name of the guy, but anyway, the name of the song is "Everything Must Change." And I just cried because I was like, oh my God, like I needed this word right now. Yeah. But that's how it works. So like people are not using the support that is available to them. Like you may not have a physical husband, but in spirit, you always have somebody who can wrap their arms around you, you know, right. And we should be able to lean on that and feel comfort in that, because really these physical husbands are a lot of time more trouble than they're worth. And we know this because our friends complain about their husbands, yet we still want one. Sometimes I have to ask myself, damn, why do I want this? Listening to people complain about it. But I was very specific in what I asked for. And I'm also putting myself in a position to be able to receive that and to be the type of wife that a husband of that magnitude would appreciate and need, you know?
Right. I love, that's a good point. I'm glad that you said that. Because, like, when I did write down the list, I did say to myself, because my therapist told me to write it down. Mm-hmm. And I did say, like, as I was going over the list with her, I was saying, like, I wrote down things that I knew that I could give. And then I wrote down some things that I knew I needed to work on that I wanted this person to have as well. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of women, you know, we always talk about what we want, and we have to be okay with giving that. I will say that if you're listening and you want to write down a list, like, you have to be willing to also give whatever it is that you're asking for, because it's just not fair. You know, like, it's not even a partnership at that point if you can't give whatever it is that you're asking for. Mm-hmm. So I definitely received that. I'm going to rewrite that list because the frogs I've been kissing, child, have been pissing me off. And my friends, I be telling my friends about my dating life. They be like, well, are you having fun? And I'm like, I'm trying. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that I'm not trying. It's like, anytime I meet a guy, he wants to go out, like, I have an open mind and an open heart. I'm probably being a little judgy because I'm observing them, because it's like, if I don't like you, I'm not going to continue to keep going out with you. If it's something that, if it's a red flag, because now I have boundaries, and now I can speak up for myself and say, hey, like one guy I was going out with back in the wintertime. He was on his phone while we was out, and I was like, why do you keep picking up your phone? Do you see me on my phone? You know what I mean? Like, and my friends keep asking me, well, are you having fun? It's like, yeah, I'm trying, but these niggas be doing dumb shit. Like, what the fuck? It's not saying like it's not me, but it's like, you know, if you on your phone while we out on a date, then what the hell? How am I supposed to have fun and you keep looking at your phone? You trying to say I'm boring? Because I know I ain't boring. You know what I mean?
Girl, I would have just got on my phone and been like, scroll, flip. Since this is what we're doing, let me show you. Because that's like, not to say I just am going to return the same energy that you give me, but like, you're setting the vibe. Obviously, we're not that into each other. So like, we might as well just like, you know, hang out and talk to our friends or whatever while we together. Since that's what we're doing.
It's like, they are the ones that is setting the vibe. Right. They are setting the energy. And so it's like, when you do that and I give you the same energy, like another guy, well, the same guy, I should say, like, one of the things he said to me, he was like, yeah, like, I'm trying to make sure that you're comfortable or whatever. And I'm like, or he was like, oh, you shy or something. I'm like, I'm not shy. You know, like, you're shy, you know, and that's why you feel like I'm being shy, because you're being shy. Like, he was an introvert. he was an introvert too. I should add that in. He
Mm.
was an introvert, and like I was the one that was holding the conversation. Like I'm asking the questions, I'm following up. I know how to have conversation. Like,
You mean like in text or something?
no, when we're in person, when we were in
Oh.
person, like I was the one that was asking all the questions. He wasn't. He didn't. He didn't ask me. The only questions he asked me was the questions that I asked him. Like he just repeated the questions back. It wasn't like he was coming up with his own questions to like really truly get to know me. And then when he was like, "Oh yeah, you shy," I'm like, "I'm not shy. You're just crazy." And
See, I mean, I don't know. I'm having fun with it. I know a lot of other friends too who are like, I think when you go into it and you're like, every time you go out with somebody and they're not the one, it's frustrating. But I'm like, I'm in the choosing position. So let me know, should I choose you? Tell me
Right.
why. Like,
right,
I'm about to be a whole problem out here because I really see myself as this person who's in the choosing position. And I should,
right,
because this is the rest of my life we're talking about. This
right.
is not 5 minutes. This is me and 2 kids. And do you vibe with us? So show me why I should choose you. And in
Right.
the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy myself. And remember that, like, number one, I can date myself better than you can date me. So if you can't date me better than I date me, then what are we doing?
Right, exactly. I get that. I don't know. We'll circle back to this dating topic, but
I know it.
I wanted to talk about some lessons that I've learned in my 20s.
Mm.
And I'll read off a few, and then I'll have you not read some, but anything if you want to like piggyback or any lessons that you've learned. I should say in the last year since you just had a birthday.
I know. I just turned 37. I don't even know if I remember anything I learned about because I probably didn't learn shit in my 20s.
Okay, so let's say from 30 to 37.
Okay.
Can you think of any?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll go first, and then you can go. So a lesson that I learned in my 20s is if you are going to work a 9 to 5, negotiate your salary. I did not do that, and nobody taught me how to do that. When I graduated undergrad, like I just took whatever money any job gave me because I needed a job, and because my grandparents and my mother told me to do. You know what I mean? So if you are going to work, please negotiate your salary. And if you don't know how, what's the podcast that I was a part of this professional development cohort back in the fall. And that is one of the things that we talked about. And I didn't learn that until my 29th year of living. I'm trying to find the podcast. Damn it. My library. Okay. It's called The Winning Season. Yes, The Winning Season. And what is her name? I think her name is Jacqueline. So she was one of the speakers during the cohort that I was in, and she talked about negotiating your salary, but her podcast has a lot of different episodes on negotiating your salary when you get the job offer. So please, that is a resource for y'all, so please take advantage. It's free. So if that's what you decide to do, please negotiate your salary. And negotiating your salary is like, just showing whoever it is that you're worth, I guess you're worth this amount of money, and showing your work and saying, hey, I did X, Y, and Z, and this is why I deserve this dollar amount, pretty much. Next thing I learned in my 20s is if you are at a 9 to 5, document everything that goes on at that 9 to 5. And that is where I fell short at my last job, is that I did not document Well, I should say the last few jobs, corporate jobs that I had, that I didn't document a lot of what went on, and so it's like it's their word against yours.
Mm-hmm.
And they're always going to do whatever it is that's best to protect themselves, and they don't give a fuck about you. So please document, and don't document it on the work computer. Keep a notebook or whatever journal and write that shit down. And you may have to like maybe email to your personal email if you do write it on your work computer. But please make sure that you're documenting what's going on, because they will try you. They will try you. And then my next lesson is to forgive your family. And it's something that I'm currently in the middle of learning about right now. But yes, forgive your family for all of the things that they've done and they've said. And I know, and this is coming from somebody that has been affected by my family deeply. I love them, but it is what it is. Like, I have been, they are my family. Like, these are the people that raised me. So it's like, yeah, they're a huge part of my life. You know what I mean? But yeah, work on forgiving your family if you haven't, because not everybody's perfect. And, you know, your parents and your grandparents, like we talked about earlier, they have things that they went through. And I was listening to the Jay Shetty podcast, and it was the Big Sean episode. And he was talking about how his dad dealt with racism because he grew up in Louisiana, and like he had been holding on to that for years. And I don't know, you know, like what his relationship is like with his dad, but it's like you just never know what your parents or your grandparents have experienced. And like I didn't really have, well, my grandparents, I should say, I don't have that opportunity to have those type of conversations with them. But I know that they are hurting, you know, and so you can't hold it against them forever. And I'm working on it. But yeah, just forgive your family so that it can open up your mind and your heart to the possibilities of living a fruitful life. So those are my first few lessons.
Okay, I love that. Hallelujah.
Thank you.
So I am going to say people who come into your life are for whatever experience. We don't belong to each other. So when we experience loss and begin the grieving process, we need to also be grateful that we were given the opportunity to love that person. You know, even if it's not forever, we were able to have the experience.
Right.
Also, when people pass on, their energy remains and we can still connect with them. That's something else that I learned that was really important, because I had a really hard time grieving because my dad passed away when I was 16. And I had a really difficult time with that, processing that. I felt very victimized because most of the girls I grew up with did not have that experience. Also, forgiveness is key, because when you do that, like you already said, you create space to just really have a most amazing life. And the last one that I will say is listen to your intuition and your internal guidance, the voice of your creator, however you refer, because that is the voice of God inside of you, giving you the direction and asking you to move with it, not against it.
Right. I love that. Those are some great lessons.
Thank you.
Especially like with this past year has been a lot of loss, you know, amongst the celebrity world, and in people's real lives as well. It's been tough for a lot of people. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely get that. Grieving is not it's not easy. My dad died when I was 7,
Mm-hmm.
and I grieved for pretty much up until I got to high school. So that was a long time. So I definitely, my heart is with anybody that is grieving, because it's not easy. I have a different idea of death now that I'm older. So I don't feel the heaviness anymore from the death of my dad. But yeah, my heart is with whoever needs that right now, because I know it's not easy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think if we all had a different idea of what happens to us when we die
Hmm.
and realize that, like, even though they're not here physically, it's not the end, like that energy is infinite. So it's like we can grieve their physical presence and then congratulate them for hitting a new level, like,
That's exactly what they're doing.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And not everybody feels the same way about death, but like I feel like, I'm gonna meet my dad again. Like I'm gonna see him one way or another, whether it's in, the physical realm through, somebody else, or another physical person, or, in the next life. Like I already know that we're gonna meet again. And like I feel his presence. So it's like, we good, Me and my dad, we be rocking and rolling.
Absolutely. And I think he would be very proud of you right now
Yeah,
for taking on what it is that you're taking on and for doing the hard work, because
right.
it's not easy to grow and to heal, but
Yeah,
you're doing it.
for real. I always say that, like, I feel like I'm my dad's wildest dream. Like
Hmm.
I am like the reflection of him. Like I'm my mother's child, but I'm definitely my dad's child, because he was feisty and he didn't give a fuck. Like I've calmed down a lot.
Yeah.
But if I was still carrying that child, y'all would not like me.
Well, I feel the same way. And I feel like, waking up and like, going on a spiritual journey and coming to my awareness, like allowed me to get closer to my dad, because I am doing the things that I think he saw for me even before I was born.
Yeah.
And, because being an astrologer, like you're looking at the charts and you're seeing the things and you're like, oh, this person is capable of blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure he probably was like, if she really can do this, that would be awesome.
Right.
So I just feel like I use that energy a lot. Like when I start to feel like I can't move forward or I'm scared or whatever, I'm like, well, I need to connect, because I need to know like which direction to go in, or do I have your support here? Like I said with the record, like it really does work like that. Just do it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, let's do a few more. I had a long list, but I know we talked a lot today, but it's cool. My next few is to exercise, move your body, and to sleep. Get your rest. Like, do not feel bad about going to bed at 10:30, because 9 times out of 10, it ain't shit going on after 10 o'clock, even on a Saturday, okay? Even on a Friday night. Like, and I live in a major city where they party every day out here. So, and when I first moved here, I did one of my homeboys, because I met him when I came to visit Houston for the second time. And we were on the phone last week, and he was like, you almost got caught up in these Houston streets, because I was out every weekend, 3 times, Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday. Yes, when I first moved here, and like, because I think it was 1, because I'm in a new city. 2, there's not these many options to party back home in Connecticut. Like we have from the city that I'm from, New Haven, they are rotating probably 1 or 2 clubs. And out here, it's probably like over 20 clubs and bars where you can choose from. You know what I mean? Like, I was coming from a small city, so I was wilding out here. And he was like, "You almost got caught up," and I was like, "I did. I really did almost get caught up."
I think that's okay though.
Yeah, I figured it out. I redeemed myself, and so, but yeah, please make sure that you're getting your rest. And we talked about this, briefly about possibly incorporating like a nighttime routine. So that it's like you're not just crashing when you go to bed at night, but exercise, move your body as much as you can, even if it's going for a walk for 10 minutes. Like, just make sure that you're moving your body, because I notice that when I don't stretch or when I don't do yoga, I can tell the difference in my body and like how it feels. Like, and at 30, you should not be saying, "Oh, my back hurt, my back hurt, No, you should not be saying that. That's not okay. If you're saying that your back is hurting, that means that you need to be stretching more, and you need to be working on your posture too. That's another thing.
As I'm sitting here like, yeah, girl.
I'm guilty of it sometimes too, where I'm slouching. But yeah, just please make sure that you're moving your body, you're exercising as much as you can. And then the next thing I said was to cut back on the alcohol. It's not good for you. I mean, I drink, but I've cut back a lot because it doesn't feel good being drunk all the time, like throwing up, being intoxicated. Oh, what happened? You're tired, you're groggy. Like, it just doesn't feel good. And like, I know everybody's on their own individual journeys, but if you go out, if you have 4 drinks, maybe limit it to 2. If you're somebody that has, 2 drinks, maybe limit it to 1, or maybe start drinking more wine and champagne. I don't know. Like, I can only speak from my own experience with the alcohol. It's like, I've seen somebody that I was friends with, and I guess she had a drinking problem. I didn't think anything of it, but like the past few years, like we would go out and she just would get so drunk, and I'm like, why? Why are you drinking so much to the point where it's like, we have to clean up your throw up? Like, that's not okay. And like, when I would see her do that, it was embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like, because we're grown as fuck. Like, do you think I want to clean up your your throw up? Like that? No. I don't want and I don't want people to clean up my throw up either, because I drank too much and I didn't know how to control myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'll just say from experience, people sometimes drink too much because they have trauma.
Oh yeah, of course. No. I know that is directly correlated. Like, I definitely get that. But if you're somebody that is doing that, I'm just bringing it to light that slow down a little bit, because I see it a lot amongst men too. Like,
oh yeah, they're bad with it too.
Yeah, I noticed that. A lot of men, that their hobby is drinking.
Yeah, and you think it's cute because everybody's doing it, but like some people, it's excessive.
Yeah, it's excessive. Like, I see a lot of men in their early to mid 30s, drinking excessively, going to the bar daily type shit. Like, that is not okay. So,
I think that's partly because they also want partners, but they don't know how to do it.
I don't know nigga that's at the bar every day drinking.
I know they're stupid, but I really do think part of that is because they feel a lot too, like, lonely.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, I'm just gonna go drink myself to death because I'm gonna die single. But if you just heal, then you will meet somebody who can tolerate your motherfucking ass.
Yeah, I agree. Cause yeah, and my new rule is, with the whole dating, I'm not giving out my number at the bar anymore. So if you see me doing that, pop my hand. Because I just meet too many crazies at the bar, like, and I be asking guys, I'm like, okay, so what do you like to do? And it's crickets.
Mm.
Going to the bar is what they like to do, and like, I got way too many alcoholics in my family to be repeating that same cycle.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a no for me, dog. But and the last thing, I have cut back on the alcohol. Save and budget your money, and this is something that I'm working through, but self-control and discipline and boundaries with your money too. Like, that's important. A lot of us talk about, I took this psychology of money course, probably back in March, maybe. And one of the things that the lady talked about, and that's terrible, I can't remember her name, but they talked about the emotions behind money.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us don't address the emotions behind the money,
Mm-hmm.
our finances. So when I say self-control, discipline, and boundaries, that's with other people and with yourself too. Like, that is really important. So, learn how to say no, find a budget that works for you, and save as much as you can. If you have the means to do it, I should say, because some people are living, paycheck to paycheck, but if you have the means to do it, please save your money.
Yeah.
You have any more lessons you want to give us, especially?
Drink water.
Okay.
Have fun. Because life is about more than the daily grind, whether you go to work or you work for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the enjoyment of the experience. We came here and to be in these bodies, to use them for our enjoyment, pleasure. Of course, we want to be safe and responsible. So while we do want to save money, for somebody like myself, I was like a money hoarder. So whatever money I had, I would be like, it's mine. I need it. I need it because I might end up broke. Never once have I been destitute, but yet was in this mind frame of gotta do like this with the coins. But when we're talking about manifestation, which I was, you have to spend money in order for money to come back to you. You have to let it go sometimes for you to get some. So budgeting is a really good way to make sure that you are on target, but also allow yourself to be a little bit free with the money that you do have. Pamper yourself, spend some money on yourself every now and again, not just other people or going out. But I think that was it. Have fun, spend a little bit of money, and drink water.
Yeah. Have fun is important. And that's kind of going back to the whole, briefly going back to the whole dating thing. Is like, just enjoy yourself, and don't think too much about whatever it is that you're doing, and that will allow you to have fun with whatever it is that you're doing. So I definitely, and it's important. I see it now that everybody's tapping back into their inner child. So it's like, if you have the opportunity to do that, that will allow you to have more fun and bring more happiness into your life. It's just to do the things that you were doing as a child, but in an adult way, obviously. Don't be jumping off bridges and doing backflips if if you know it's going to take you a little longer to recover.
Right. That's how I found out about that. not worrying about money and having fun is because I did this inner child meditation. And I just asked her, like, how can I have more fun with my kids and enjoy my life? And she was like, don't worry about money.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the money and just fucking be free.
Yeah.
And I was like, she don't have no kids. She don't have
Right.
no bills. So, of course, she would say that. But
Yeah. You did this meditation with somebody else?
yeah, with a hypnotherapist.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay, so seriously, I'm gonna do 2 more and then we can get out of here.
Okay.
My next 2, get professional help if you have the means to do it. Whether the professional help is with a therapist, a massage therapist, a life coach, a dating coach, what other things? A doctor, a dentist.
Well, let us know.
Take care of your teeth. But seriously,
Please do.
right, get the professional help if you have the means to do it. A lot of us, we talk about, like you said, treat yourself. And that is a part of, your self-care and getting professional help. Outsourcing if you have the means to take some relief off of your back. Give your laundry to somebody to do, which I'm an advocate for, or hire a cleaning lady if you can. I've done the whole laundry thing. I haven't done it lately, but it was helpful when I was doing it, having somebody, because I despise laundry. But yeah, get professional.
I got 2 loads to go through downstairs.
I got a load to wash. I'm just like, child, no. But yeah, get professional help if you have the means to do it, just to help elevate your life as much as you can. It's important to get help, and don't be afraid to ask for it. My next one that I've learned recently is to have boundaries, and don't feel bad about enforcing those boundaries. I don't care who it is. A lot of us have a problem enforcing boundaries with our family. And if you need the support to enforce boundaries with your family, let me know. I can help you. And everybody has different relationships with their family, and it doesn't have to be disrespectful either. I think a lot of us are hesitant about enforcing boundaries with our family, our loved ones, because we think like, oh, this is my mom or whatever. It's like, so who cares? Like, this is your life, because when she's gone, no shade, like I love my mother, but when she's gone, like, then what?
Right.
Like I have to enforce these boundaries because it's going to keep me sane.
Mm-hmm.
So don't feel bad about enforcing the boundaries. And with that, it's like you have to figure out what you need, I guess, from that person and verbalize it. And I had Misha on here back in the fall on the podcast. She's a therapist, and she was saying how you have to keep doing it. Don't stop. Just because you did it one time doesn't mean anything. Because especially if it's new that you're incorporating with said person, like you may have to keep doing it and saying it until they're like, okay, I get it. Or you may, and if they don't get it, you may have to remove yourself. And it's hard, but shit, I do it all the time. And people will live and they will be okay. Like, you have to understand that. Like, this is your life. You're in control. You are the driver. You are the captain of your ship. So do not feel bad about that shit, period.
Yep. Period.
Don't feel bad about it. Seriously. What are they going to do? Especially if you're an adult and you ain't living with your parents no more. Girl.
Right.
I do
And
feel
I
that.
will add that you need to include them kids, like I was saying earlier, because
Yes, if you
they
have
need boundaries
children.
too.
Yes, if you have children.
And don't feel bad about it.
Right, exactly. And now that you said that, when my nephews come back over again, I ain't gonna feel bad. Because, like, I do be feeling bad, like, you know, because they're so cute and cuddly, you know?
Yeah, but like okay, well, I'll say for instance, like the neighbor girl, like she kind of helped me see this too because like she still keeps coming back over here, but I'm just like, no. With her, I'm like that. Now with my kids, I'm like, nope, nope.
Oh, this is the one that your daughter was playing with.
Hmm.
Did you talk about that? Because you said that your daughter was at somebody's house. And
Oh no, this is a different girl.
oh, okay, all right.
So this experience is allowing my daughter to learn about relationships and really communicating with people because they keep getting into it. So every time they start beefing, I'm like, let's talk about this. This person, you're being overly sensitive. You're being overly aggressive. Y'all got to find the balance or you're not going to be able to play together because y'all don't vibe the same. So every time there's an issue, I try to bring them the truth of it because I mean, they need to learn that. So,
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to add to the lessons before we head out?
Get in touch with your emotions and practice emotional intelligence. I pulled these cards out so I could get the word and use your voice in order for you to find your true happiness.
Okay.
That's
I
what
love that. Yes, speak up for what you need at all times.
Right. Period.
Period. Seriously. But yeah, I want to thank you for coming on. I guess I want this to be a birthday episode. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't go through all the lessons that I've learned in my 20s, but I definitely want or hope that some of these resonate with some of y'all. And if you're a woman that is turning 30 this year or in your early to mid 30s, like I've been learning with the help of Sheba and Janae, the other young lady I had on the podcast, fuck what people got to say about you. Who cares what they got to say? Like, live your life, do what you feel like is best for you. And yeah, that's it. Like, fuck what people got to say. Like, that's what I'm moving into in my 30s. Turning 30 is like, fuck what anybody got to say about it. I will whip your ass, period. Not literally. I would not harm anybody. I just want to say that. I have in the past. I'm a changed person, but
Hey, protection is not harm.
oh
So
no.
remember
If I
that.
have to protect myself, trust me, I will.
Just remember that because I think sometimes that's why we don't have our boundaries because we don't really grasp the concept of I'm protecting myself. We're like, I don't want to be mean. Fuck that. You
Yeah.
are stepping on me, so I must like this.
Yeah, right, exactly. But don't get it twisted that if you put your hands on me, I will whoop your ass. And that's just gonna be the end of that, and I will not feel bad about it. But I won't. Don't forget that I am a girl from New Haven, Connecticut. I'm very much still from the East Coast, so
Okay.
the fire is still it's still lit. Okay. It ain't booming, but it's lit though. But yeah, I definitely want to thank you for your contribution to the podcast and just helping me. Like you are really helping me, and we're able to help each other and help other people that are listening to the show as well. And I really hope that y'all hear a word. Please subscribe to the podcast, download it, share it, review, let us know what you thinking, how you living, what lessons have y'all learned in your 20s? Let me know, and I'll put that on Instagram too, so we can talk about it. So yeah. Anything else you want to add before we head out?
Nope, I'm good.
For a while.
What? You think I always have something to say?
Yeah, you are very insightful.
You're like, oh, the bitch who always wants to talk and say something, don't have nothing to say.
No,
No, I think.
I'm just saying. I feel like you have great things to say. That's what I'm asking.
Well, no, I guess that's it. Just, I mean, because what I would say wouldn't have any resonance probably by the time that it comes out, because you're going to put this out, what, in a couple weeks?
Next week, I'll put it up.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll still share it. I would just say that, this week is a really great opportunity for us to take a really deep and true and sincere look at what we are allowing to stop us from expanding, because it's always us. We can't blame other people for holding us back. We have to acknowledge that it's you standing in front of you. Like if there was a doorway to your future or to your success in front of you, and you can see the outline, the light on the other side of it. If there's anybody blocking you, I bet it looks like you. So do that this week.
Look in that mirror, child.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening, and we will talk to you later. Peace.